think about this. A part in my brain that attaches to our senses, right? We're sentient beings, which means we have the ability to feel, to sense, and we create our reality based on our senses. So what I'm trying to say to you is that think about if a part in your brain that senses things and interprets senses as smells, as memories, gets damaged, we are no longer attached so much to our senses, which means our sense of reality actually gets distorted. And I've experienced this just literally for myself, like because I smell different, like I don't smell like me. So who am I? I wouldn't be standing here today making this video, talking about this, if I didn't go through that. There wouldn't be this wider perspective if I didn't go through that. Even the seemingly bad things have good in them. Expand us, bring us to bigger states of ourselves, bring us to bigger states and more connection in the world, like always. And it's just about the story you choose to tell. This is going to be a controversial topic because of the fact that it's a polarizing topic. So everybody has an opinion and everybody has a different opinion. There's 8 billion opinions to this in the earth right now. So what is it? Well, let me tell you what it is. This is, and don't mind me, I sit cross-legged usually. As you can see, I sit cross-legged when I'm talking. But really, essentially, I am going to be talking about the illness and why I think it allowed me to end a toxic relationship. So these are two seemingly unrelated things. However, I'm going to make a link, and the link is my nose and my brain. If you already know where I'm going with this, then don't spoil it for everybody else. Okay, so this is what happened, okay? I was in Africa, specifically South Africa, specifically Joburg, when I got the illness. I got the illness with 2 other people I was traveling with. One at the time was my significant other. He is no longer my significant other. I will get into that. However, I lost my smell completely. We all 3 did. And then when I regained my smell, keep in mind, I was in Africa. I was in 6 different countries in Africa. And so when I would eat things, I'd be like, everything has this weird taste. Like, what is it? Is it the water here? Is it like the oil that people are using to cook things? Like, what is this taste? And so we started calling it the taste. And so like everything had the taste. And then when I left in Malawi, and I kid you not, I was so excited to go back home and eat like normal food again because it wouldn't have the taste, or like we also called it the smell. But I got home, I walk in the door, the first thing that happens, I smell the smell. And I'm like, no. So at that point, that was the turning point when I came home and realized, okay, it's not Africa. It's not any of the 6 countries that I went to. It's not the food there. It's not the water there. It's me. It's me. So then I started having to do some research and ask, like, okay, what happened to me since being there? So there was a potential possibility that there was a parasite. which I did have, but that just made it more extreme. When the parasite got killed, I still couldn't smell the same. And so then I started doing research. I was like, okay, the only other thing that happened to me was I got COVID and I lost my smell. And so then I realized there's this thing called, you know what it's called? I think it's parosmia. And I might be saying it wrong, but that's okay. But anyways, so your sense of smell comes back, but it comes back messed up, okay? So I did a little bit of research on this on the time because I was like, you know what, like, it'll get fixed on its own, no big deal. It's not, like, this isn't anything. And so what ends up happening is here we are, literally like 10 months later, and it's still not back. So by this point, I'm like, okay, WTF. I don't smell the same. My armpits don't smell the same. My breath doesn't smell the same. Like, every food is slightly different and off. So like, if you have this, like, you know how frustrating and annoying it is, and actually how much of life we miss out on without our sense of smell. Like, who would have thought, honestly? Who would have thought? So for me, I realized that you could do this thing called smell training, right? Okay, so as I'm doing research on this smell training, I'm like looking at the different, flavors that they want you to smell, and like then doing different research. And so essentially, the leap that we're gonna make here is very important. So listen. The leap that we're gonna make is that a different part of your brain gets atrophied or damaged when you have COVID. And so obviously that doesn't happen to everybody. It's more common in some people than it is in others. Obviously, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not a professional on this. But what I'm going to say is really, really interesting, because here's the idea, right? The brain, okay, is linked to all of these things. And one of the things that they said, which I thought was super interesting in the articles I was reading, is the first thing that people with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's start to exhibit as symptoms is a loss of smell. So these are two illnesses, degenerative illnesses, that affect you when you're getting older, when different parts of your brain and central nervous system are starting to deteriorate, okay? So what they said is that this sense of smell is very like a next door neighbor and very closely related to our memory. Makes sense, right? Because when you do this smell training, they tell you, when you're smelling the rose smell, basically sit and meditate and remember memories of roses and interactions with roses. So I'm sitting there smelling this rose smell, and I'm thinking of this beautiful rose tea that I used to drink that I love, that you should definitely try. And so I'm sitting there smelling it and having these memories, and then thinking, okay, I was in a toxic relationship, and I was able to leave that toxic relationship. I thought I was going to die with this person. I literally thought we were going to be together for the rest of our lives. Like, we were committed to each other, we were engaged, and what I'm saying is, because of COVID, think about this, a part in my brain that attaches to our senses, right? We're sentient beings, which means we have the ability to feel, to sense, and we create our reality based on our senses. So what I'm trying to say to you is that think about if a part in your brain that senses things and interprets senses as smells, as memories, gets damaged, we are no longer attached so much to our senses, which means our sense of reality actually gets distorted. And I've experienced this just literally for myself. Like, because I smell different, like, I don't smell like me. So who am I? It made me ask that question, because I don't smell like myself. Nothing smells like myself. My own snot doesn't smell like me. So I had to ask myself the question, who am I then? And so what if you had the illness and you lost your sense of smell and it damaged that part of you so that you can widen your perspective and not be so attached to a certain reality, to a certain perception of reality? Because essentially, all of our stories are made up on memory. Who we are, how we identify ourselves, all have to do with memory. So think about this. If your area in your brain that is associated with memories gets damaged, it allows you to loosen your perception on who you are, and therefore allows you the space to become something new and essentially to become something bigger than what you thought you are. That's what happened for me anyways. And I didn't even relate these two. It was more so just I lost my sense of smell, and then I started to realize all of these things about my relationship, about myself, and I started to have all these aha moments, and I started to meet certain people, and all these crazy things started happening. So basically what I'm saying here is that think of it. You don't have to adopt this as your truth. There's no part of me that's telling you hey, this is the truth. This is what you have to know. This is it. No. What I'm saying is just, what if? That's all I'm asking. What if? What if this thing that has come and affected so many of us and has stuck around through our senses, creating almost a different reality for us, or the opportunity that we could step into a different reality? You know what they also said when I was doing research is that the loss of smell affects directly people's moods as well and their feelings of depression. So what if these changes in our states, in our moods, and affecting depression is enough to put people into a shadow aspect of themselves, to put them depressed enough to make radical changes in their lives? Because whoever had an awakening that wasn't filled with this dark night of the soul energy. And so what our scientists, what our people in, academia are going to call depression, maybe are dark nights of the soul. Because we're not experiencing reality the same way because we can't smell. And that's what's related to our memories. It's so ingrained in us that certain smells bring up certain memories. So if we're not attached to those memories anymore, guess what? Bam! Birthed a whole new person. It's crazy. It's crazy that this is, that one of my strong core beliefs as a human being is that things are happening for us, not to us. And that little things, or even big things that can seem tragic or that seem like a loss, actually brought you so much more, right? Think about this. I lost a part of my brain, and a lot of us did. We lost literally a chunk of my brain that's responsible for perceiving smells. And now I'm having to retrain that part of my brain because I want it back. I want it back. I'm going to laugh at myself because I'm just being me. But so think about that, right? This loss. I'm perceiving that loss of smell as a loss. But you know what it brought me? It brought me the ability to see outside of myself and outside of this toxic relationship that I was in. And it allowed me the ability to leave it. Only because I wasn't experiencing reality the way I knew reality always was. Because I wasn't attached to my memories the same way. I wasn't able to be attached to my memories the same way. So how many of you guys have stories like this where you had a major loss? And believe me, okay, that wasn't the only thing I lost. Because yes, I also lost this person that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. But guess what? Was I really happy there? No. Was I sacrificing a lot of myself? Yes. Was I being gaslit and mentally, emotionally abused? Yes. So why is that a loss? That's a gain. That's hello, you gained yourself because you lost this thing. And like, while that's still a loss and there's still the ability to grieve and to say like, man, that sucks, there's also this ability to say like, but look at all I got from that, you know? And that's really the truth. That's what being spiritual is all about, is about seeing the bigger truth to everything. And so the connection I'm making here with this, you know, COVID affecting our DNA, there's so much fear around that. There's so much fear around the illness affecting our DNA. But what if it's happening for your benefit? What if? I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I'm not saying you have to adopt this as your truth. I'm just saying, what if? What if it's better? What if we stop playing into the stories that this happened to me and I'm the victim and poor me? Because believe me, yeah, it fucking sucks to not be able to smell things. I don't like it. And that's why I'm doing the training, so that hopefully I can get my smell back. But guess what? I wouldn't be standing here today making this video, talking about this, if I didn't go through that. There wouldn't be this wider perspective if I didn't go through that. So this is the thing. This is the lesson. This is the lesson that we're always being taught over and over and over and over again until it gets slammed on our heads so hard that we can't even look anywhere else. We can't even look anywhere else because this is it. Okay? Even the seemingly bad things have good in them. Expand us, bring us to bigger states of ourselves, bring us to bigger states and more connection in the world, like always. And it's just about the story you choose to tell. So tell me now, tell me a story that you thought was bad that led you to something so much greater. Or tell me in the comments below, what do you think of this theory, honestly? That's really what I want to know, because this, like, when this aha moment like clicked in my brain, I was like, oh my God, my brain is not the same as it was. I had to detach from how I knew how to experience reality and learn how to experience reality in a different way. And what is that more than a spiritual awakening, people? Come on, what is more than that? Experiencing reality one way, letting go of that, and then experiencing reality in a new and better way. What more to that is a spiritual awakening? That's what a spiritual awakening is. So how else can we even describe this? I don't know. Are you a science person? Do you believe just fully in the science? I like to connect science and spirituality because honestly, I think they're one and the same. It's like looking at two sides of one coin. It's like, oh, that's the science side. Oh, that's the spirituality side. And they're the same thing. I honestly don't believe that they're separate. That's just me. Obviously we live in a dualistic universe, but I don't believe that they're separate. I believe that they are the same thing and that we're just seeing from different perspectives. So what I like to do is to say, hey, here's this perspective, and here's how they merge. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. I know this is a very controversial topic, and I know that not a lot of people may agree with me, and that's cool. You can not agree with me all day long if you want, but still tell me what you think. Like, even if you don't agree, that's cool. I'm cool with that. But put your perspective down below, because I'd like to know, what your guys' experiences have been with this thing, this massive thing that's affected the whole planet. I'd like to know. But yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like this video. Please leave comments down below on what you think. I'm always just trying to expand my own perspectives and my own knowledge, so that's why I like to share mine, but that's also why I like to hear yours. So if you have anything else to share, please put it down below. I'd be happy to entertain your perspective on life and the illness and all the other things that come with that. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Big love, Serena.